but I knew about it a little bit.
Convention, I didn't know about it.
I had no idea.
Yes, to be honest, I didn't know.
75 years ago, the international community made a promise, a convention, a legal framework designed to protect the most vulnerable people on earth, those forced to flee their homes by conflict, persecution, and violence. That document, the 1951 Refugee Convention, promised protection, dignity, the right to work, the right to move freely, the right to a life, not just a camp.
My name is Lukendo Mbokani Mpara. I am a refugee from DRC, specifically the eastern part of DRC. I am currently the executive director of the Refugee-led Organization Network. I fled conflict. In 2008, I lost everything. I arrived in Uganda, a country that has the most refugee progressive policy. That is built on the foundation of the 1951 Convention. Despite that, I also know that the gaps that exist within the refugee response in Uganda and globally. And that gap is what this documentary is all about. The 1951 Convention was written by diplomats for refugees. 75 years later, very little has changed about who is in the room. RELON was built on a different promise that the people in the convention were designed to protect should be the one holding it accountable. Not as a witness, not as case studies, but as policy makers.
RELON holds formal seats on 6 national coordination bodies in Uganda, including the Localization Task Force. In 2026, RELON joined the UNHCR Global Advisory Board of organizations led by forcibly displaced persons. The convention is 75 years old. The presence of refugee-led organizations in the rooms where it is interpreted is still new.
When I walk into those rooms, I carry the convention with me at heart, not as a document, as a standard, a measure, and ask, are we meeting it? The answer, 75 years in, is not yet, but we are getting closer. And the refugee-led organizations are the ones closing that gap.
Article 26 of the 1951 Convention guarantees freedom of movement. Article 17 guarantees right to work. Article 22 guarantees access to education. Most refugees in Uganda and around the world have never read these articles. In 2025 and 2026, RELON delivered refugee rights training across Mbara, Arua, and Kampala, bringing together 135 refugee-led organizations to read the convention that was written for them, understand what it promises, and learn how to demand it.
But joining these trainings helped me to know more about this convention and the rights of refugees.
I used to see it on my ID, the refugee ID, but I had not given it time to read more about it.
It has helped us to feel safe, to be protected in Uganda.
Uganda accepts refugee and it's okay for you to be here. That was the only thing I knew about it.
The 1951 Convention is a document, but it only becomes real when the people it protects know what is in it and have the power to demand it. That is what RELON's training is all about. We are not celebrating the convention, we are implementing it as a network.
Article 17 of the 1951 Convention guarantees refugees the right to work. 75 years later, majority of the world's refugees cannot freely access employment. They cannot freely move to find it, and are served by the humanitarian system that measures success in food distributions rather than livelihoods built. RELON exists to change that.
Self-reliance is not a program, it is a right. Article 17 was supposed to guarantee it. What we have instead is a system that keeps refugees depending on aid, while the convention's promise collects dust. Under Beacon, a project funded by the Hilton Foundation, we have trained 270 refugee-led organizations, leaders, and sub-granted 57 organizations, not as charity, but as investment in what the convention promised 7 decades ago.
Article 26 is perhaps the most violated provision of the 1951 Convention in practice. In East Africa and across the world, freedom of movement for refugees is still restricted, conditional, and subject to enforcement that the Convention does not permit. You cannot build self-reliance if you cannot move freely. You cannot access your rights if you cannot reach them.
RELON's Move Freely, Live Fully campaigns is not a slogan. It is a legal argument. Article 26 is ambiguous. And 75 years after it was written, we are still fighting to have it honored. Our community monitoring shows the consequences of that failure. Refugees who cannot reach markets, schools, or health services because the system that was designed to protect them is containing them instead.
They should know that they have rights to live in Uganda, they have rights to movement, no one can force them to, go back.
The 1951 Convention was designed to be implemented by states, supported by UNHCR, and delivered by the international system. 75 years later, the organizations doing the most implementation are the ones closest to the ground. National NGOs, community-based organizations, and refugee-led networks like RELON. They are doing the convention's work. They are not getting the convention's resources.
The convention assigned responsibility to states. The grand bargain promised to shift resources to local actors. Neither commitment has been fully honored. RELON is not asking for charity. We are asking for the resources to do the work that the convention requires. Work that refugee-led organizations are already doing on a fraction of what the international system spends.
75 years, the convention is not broken. The commitment to implement it is what has been broken repeatedly by a system that finds it easier to manage refugees rather than empower them. RELON's 4 campaigns, Your Policy, Our Voices Matter, Empower to Earn, Nurture Now, Move Freely, Live Free are not campaigns about what refugees need. They are campaigns about what the convention already promised.
The 2027 Global Refugee Forum is the next major moment of reckoning for the convention. RELON will be in that room, and we will be asking the same questions we ask today. 75 years on, where is the gap? Who is being held accountable for clothing? It was written down, signed, ratified, and celebrated. And then, slowly, quietly, it was managed rather than honored. RELON exists because the gap between the promise and the reality is still too wide. We are not asking for a new convention. We are asking for the one that already exists to be implemented fully, honestly, and with the people it was designed to protect at the center of every decision. 75 years, the convention is still right. The gap is still real, and the refugee-led organizations are still here doing the work, closing the distance, building the future that was promised in 1951 and is still on.
Every refugee deserves a chance.
Every refugee deserves dignity and peace.
Remember, your policy, our voice matters.